Hare Krishna. Good evening, devotees. Welcome to this Gita Made Easy program. So, very happy to meet you all. So, today we'll be discussing from chapter 17, the divisions of faith. Very interesting and very practical chapter. So, we are almost at the last part of Bhagavad Gita. One more chapter to go, chapter 18, which is the conclusion of all entire Bhagavad Gita. So, that will be in the next week. So, today we will discuss on chapter 17. So this Gita Made Easy program is based on the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. For more details on the any verses or the sloka meaning or purport, you can always refer to Bhagavad Gita as it is. Hare Krishna. So before going into the class, let us offer our humble prayers under the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, so that we may able to be understand His teachings and also get strength to follow His teachings in our day-to-day life. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimarandasya Jananjana Sharakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Mugam Karoti Vachalam Pangun Langete Girim Etrapata Mande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanishwaram Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shradvaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gauravaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So once again, welcome you all for this Gita Made Easy program. So today we are in the 17th chapter, the divisions of faith. So as we are now discussing for past few weeks, we are in the Jnana Yoga part. That means Krishna is giving a lot of knowledge to us, so that by getting this knowledge, we can enhance our bhakti towards Him. So previous week, last Friday, we have discussed about from chapter 16, where we seen another practical chapter about the divine and demonic qualities, natures, how the divine qualities are there, how the demonic qualities are there. So we saw with an acronym called DOG. We know the dog is a faithful animal. Also, the dog is sometimes unpredictable. So similarly, the divine qualities are very much glorified, whereas the demonic qualities take away from far away from God. So the dog, DOG, first Krishna mentions about the divine and demonic qualities in the first 6 verses. Then on the second O part, he discusses about the opinions and outlook of the demons. What is their nature? What is their outlook? What are their qualities? How will be their activities? And what will be the result of those activities? And Krishna also given a warning at the end about gates to hell. He said that three things are gates to hell: lust, anger, and greed. This will make one person progress towards a hell, because these are not good qualities. It keeps us always, in a lot of issues and problems and get more and more entanglement. So anybody who want to develop in spiritual life, Krishna is saying that they should keep away or keep in control these 3 natures, which is lust, anger, and greed, which is not good for conducive for our spiritual progress. So with that, we discussed about in detail about the divine and demonic qualities, and further last we concluded that the divine and demonic is present within the same person. As much as we are associating, those qualities starts manifesting within us. So if we are associating with sadhus or saintly people, the divine qualities in us starts growing. Like our mind is like a garden. Whatever we pour water to the weeds will grow. If you pour water to the good plants and remove the weeds, then beautiful flowers will come. So if you, on the other hand, if you are, instead of associating with sadhus or saintly people, we are associating with too much worldly minded people who are always against material enjoyment, then our demonic quality starts developing. So that was the conclusion of that. And Krishna recommended that always, if you are sticking to this path of devotion service, we will be always means in the divine nature. So this is a continuation to 16th chapter. We are going to discuss chapter 17. In English, it is called as the divisions of faith. And in Sanskrit, it is called Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. So this is basically, as I said, it's a practical chapter. So it is going to discuss about our lifestyle management. That means we can actually, by our lifestyle, how we can change or how we can enhance our lifestyle by applying the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So very practical chapter we are going to discuss. And as I said earlier, this is a more detailed explanation of chapter 14. Chapter 14 talks about the three modes of material nature, which is basically Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. So that we saw already in 14th chapter. This is going to be in more depth analysis of same three gunas on various things, the impact, like how these three gunas will impact our faith, and how these three gunas will impact the selection of our food and the resultant of that, austerities, penance, charity, so many things like that is going to discuss on this chapter. So chapter 17 synopsis. So just now we discussed in short about chapter 16. Chapter 16 explains the divine qualities that elevate one on the tree and leads ultimately to liberation. If you can recollect about 15th chapter, Krishna says that this material world is a reflection, perverted reflection of the original tree, banyan tree. So where the branches are going actually down and the roots are going up. So in this material tree, or in the material world which is compared to a tree, the divine qualities elevate us to higher branches, whereas the demonic qualities bring us to the lower branches, to the lower species of life, and the divine qualities elevate to the higher branches of this. That is what 16th chapter is talking about, 15 to 16. And in chapter 16, Krishna also established about the faithful followers of Shastra are divine, and the faithless are demonic. In the conclusion of 16th chapter, Krishna is saying that Ye Shastri Mitri Mitsitya Vartate Kamagar. So those who are actually following the Shastra, see, we all believe in God, and those who believe in God, how do we know what God wants from us? So that is explained in the Shastra. That's what we say is Holy Scriptures. So those who follow the Holy Scriptures or who follow the Shastra are considered to be the divine personalities, having divine nature. And those who reject the Shastras, Krishna considers them as demonic because they do not know what to do and what not to do. If you go to any company, there is always certain procedure, policy. We have to work according to that policy and procedures. If you go to a country, there are also rules and regulations. We have to abide by the rules and regulations. Otherwise, we will be deported from that country. So everywhere we go, there is a policy, procedure, government regulations. If you want to be in that place, you have to follow the regulations. So this is God's creation, and God has given certain set of codes and regulations how to live in this world, what to do and what not to do. When we are following that, we become a good citizen. And if you do not follow that, we become a bad citizen. Example, if in a country, there is also a prison department and there is also a welfare department. And government has given certain rules of regulations that you should not cross the red signal. Drugs are not allowed in this country. Those who bring drugs, they will be means penalized or given punishment, death punishment, like that. So there are certain rules and regulations. So those who follow the rules and regulations of the government, they are automatically coming under government welfare department. The government is giving them all the facilities. And those who try to reject or try to violate the government regulations, what happens? They are immediately caught by the police and they are put into the prison for rectification. Same thing applies to God also. He has given us certain rules and regulations through the scriptures. And when we follow that, we become good son of God. Okay, so that's why we have Bible or Quran or Bhagavad Gita. Wherever we go, we accept any religion, any God. Still there is a holy scripture to follow the certain code of conduct as well as certain rules and regulations, how we should pray, how we should do fasting, and we should not tell lie, we should not cheat others. So many things, moral codes as well as spiritual codes are there. And those who reject that, I will not follow these scriptures, and they come in the demonic nature. And for them, there is a kind of degradation will happen because they are considered as a bad citizen, bad son. Okay, so like that, the two classes are there, and Krishna concluded in chapter 16 saying that those who are faithfully following the Shastra are considered to be divine, and that faithless are actually demonic. This is the last part of the verse which Krishna said. In this connection, we are going to the 17th chapter because Arjuna is going to ask question based on this verse, which Krishna spoke in 16th chapter. So what Arjuna is going to ask, but into which category does a man fit who follows with faith something other than Shastra? Is he in goodness, passion, or ignorance? Where is he situated in the banyan? See, Arjuna is asking a very beautiful question. Now, Krishna very clearly said in the 16th chapter end, those who are following Shastra are divine, and those who reject the Shastra are actually faithless and they are demonic nature. Now, Arjuna is putting a question in the beginning of 17th chapter, first verse, that, see, there are good people also who are having good faith also, but they do not know the Shastra. They think, okay, this is what they know. They just follow something other than Shastra. But they are nice people. They are not having any demonic quality. These people coming under which category, Krishna? He's asking whether they are in the goodness, or they are in the passion, or they are in the ignorance. So where is their situation in this banyan tree, in this material world? So a very nice question Arjuna is asking in the beginning of the 17th chapter. So you can see here chapter 17 sections. So first section is actually one's modes determines one's activities and faith and worship. So when we are situated in Sattva-guna, our activities are different, our faith is different, and our worship is different. This is Krishna's answer to Arjuna's question. In which mode? And 17.8 to 10, Krishna is talking about food, types of food in various modes, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. And 11 to 13, sacrifices in various modes. And 14 to 19 is austerity in various modes. And 20 to 22 is charity in various modes. And 23 to 28 is actually the conclusion of this chapter with Om Tat Sat. All the Vedic mantra or the conclusion of the mantras ends with Om Tat Sat, means we are offering everything as a sacrifice to God. So these are the sections what we are going to see here, beginning with first question, and then the answers to that. Then the food in the modes, first one, sacrifice in the mode, second one, austerity in the modes, third one, charity in the modes, fourth one. And these four categories we are going to see, and then the conclusion. So say chapter 17, the divisions of faith. So in the previous chapter, Krishna described two extremes. 16th chapter means two extreme only Krishna described, the divine and the demonic. So now Arjuna is going to ask about the intermediate people who are between the divine and the demonic. Day-to-day experience, however, reveals that we actually have many faces, are not necessarily one or other. That means we cannot categorize ourselves as divine because sometimes we have bad qualities also. And at the same time, we cannot say demonic because we are not so bad people also. Sometimes we do a lot of good things also. So we are like in between situation. Not many of us are in between situation, neither divine nor demonic. Because one day I am sometimes very good person, I am doing a lot of charity, I am helping other times somebody is attacking me, I am trying to destroy their life, I am turning into demonic. So life is generally not black or white, but usually different shades of the gray. So we cannot just categorize divine, demonic. No, but there are various grades, various shades. The faces that we present on the daily basis reveal something about our faith, the things we trust, believe, and place value upon. So chapter 17 describes how a person affiliation to a particular mode will determine the type of faith they have. So here 17th chapter, what we are going to discuss is, according to the influence of a certain mode, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, that will determine my type of faith. So here we are going to see an acronym called FACE. FACE means our face. So F stands for faith. Our faith is determined by our guna. If I am Sattva-guna, I worship a certain God. If I am in Rajoguna, I worship certain things, and Tamoguna like that. So our faith is determined by the mode we are in. And A for, as we discussed, the austerity we do in Sattva-guna, the austerity we do in Rajoguna, the austerity we do in Tamoguna. What will be the result if I do in Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna? And C for the charity I am doing in Sattoguna, and charity I am doing in Rajoguna, and charity I am doing in Tamoguna. What will be the result? And Om Tat Sat, the conclusion is E is the enjoyer of everything. That is, God is the enjoyer of whatever sacrifices we are making. So the acronym we are going to discuss today in chapter 17 is FACE. Faith, austerity, charity, and the enjoyer of everything. So Arjuna inquired now, Ye Sastra Vidhi Mutsrijya. This is the first, we can see the first one, 17.1. Arjuna is discussing here, asking a question to Krishna. Ye Sastra Vidhi Mutsrijya, people who do not follow the Shastra, Yajante Shraddhayan Vitaha. What their Shraddha is different. Tesham Nishta to Ka Krishna, Sattamaho Rajos Tama. They are coming in Sattoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. So I'll read the translation. Oh Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principle of scriptures, but worship according to their own imagination? Okay, somebody worship according to their own thing. They worship some God which is not in the scripture also. Are they in the goodness, in passion, or ignorance? This is Arjuna's question. So we are going to see the first thing. Now Krishna is going to answer. Faith. Faith is very important in spiritual life, because without faith, we will not be sitting in today's class. We have faith in God. We have faith in scriptures. Even though we have not seen God, still we have, according to our common sense and logic, we know there is a creator. And also we have faith in the scriptures, and we want to understand more about the scriptures. That's why we are attending this class. So this faith is very, very important in life. Every day when we sleep at night, we have faith that we will get up tomorrow morning. Whenever we travel, we have faith that we will go to our destination safely. So this faith is an integral part of our human life. Now, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunction, what is his position? Or those who create some sort of God by selecting a human being and placing their faith in him, worshipping in goodness, passion, or ignorance. Do such persons attain the perfection stage of life? If I am worshipping with my own imagination, okay, sometimes I am worshipping a great person in this world that I am thinking he is God for me. So do that persons attain perfection stage in life? This is Arjuna's question now. So here we can see different kinds of worship mentioned in Matsya Purana. We have these Puranas, different Puranas. 18 Puranas are there. So in that, Matsya Purana is one of the Purana. So here it is said that we are giving some references. People who are predominantly in Sattoguna, their faith will be on Lord Vishnu. Matsya Purana says like this. People who are influenced by passion, they worship Lord Brahma. And people who are influenced by mode of ignorance, they worship Lord Shiva. And the worship in different demigods, different modes. See here, if you see, predominant mode is they are in Sattoguna. Okay, the majority of their mode in Sattoguna, but when this goodness, some passion it comes, they go to Brahma also. Then worship in different modes. The goodness people, they worship demigods. In the passion, they worship demons, and ignorance, they worship ghost and spirit. This is also said in Bhagavad Gita. And even if you see the animals, they are also predominantly in the mode of ignorance. The animals normally, they are in the Tamoguna. And within this Tamoguna, the animals are coming under Tamoguna, but within the Tamoguna, if there some animal is having goodness quality, that is example is cow, is having sattvic nature within the Tamoguna category. That means some percentage is sattvic is more mixed with the Tamoguna. And for passion is lion. This is only one example. There are many examples like this. And for ignorance is jackal, monkeys, or camel. All this come under Tamoguna. Okay, so here we can see generally people are worshipping different gods, we can say. The Shaktas means people who worship Shakti or Devi. They are one category of people in this world. Their scripture is Shakta Agamas. And people also, they are called Shaurya, second category. They are worshipper of sun. They worship sun or visible entities. So they follow the scriptural basis on Saura Agamas. And Ganapatiya means people worship Ganapati, Lord Ganapati. And they are Ganapati Agamas. And Shaivites, people worship Lord Shiva. They are Shaiva Agamas. And there are people who are Vaishnavas who worship Lord Vishnu as the ultimate controller. So Vaishnava. So here, people according to the influence of different modes, they worship different gods and their faith will vary. Okay. Is it possible for them to be situated in real knowledge and elevate themselves to the highest perfectional stage? This is the question posed by Arjuna. Do those who do not follow the rules and regulations of scriptures, but who have faith in something and worship gods and demigods and men, attain success in their effort? Arjuna is putting these questions to Krishna. If they will do without reference to scripture, they are worshipping some devata, they are worshipping some god. Do they achieve the success in their effort? This is the question. So the divisions of faith we are going to see now. The acronym, as I discussed, faith. The first 7 verses is going to discuss about the influence of faith according to the modes, 3 modes. The austerities is 14 to 19, and charity is 20 to 22, and enjoyer is 23 to 28. So in this chapter, there are 28 verses. So these 4 categories we are going to see in this chapter. So we are going to the first section called faith. Faith is discussed in the first 7 verses in 17th chapter, beginning with Arjuna's question. Although religious people are often referred as people of faith, people who believe in God, they say that they're people of faith. The reality is that everyone has faith. Even atheists have faith. We all put in faith in traffic lights. See, we all put our faith, even people who don't believe in God, they put faith in the traffic light, doctor. When you go for an operation theater, when you go for operation, we have full faith in the doctor that he will cure me. He is going to cut my body now. With what basis we are signing that agreement? We are having faith that the doctor will save my life. That means not only people who are worshipping God, they have faith. Everybody in this world have faith. And even banks, we are investing our money means we think we have faith that this money will come back to me. That's why we are hard-earned money we are putting in the bank, because we have faith that this bank will not cheat me. So without faith, you cannot function in this world. This is a very important point. Without faith, we cannot function in this world. To have faith means to see the opportunity, reward and value in something, even though it may not be immediately experienced. Like people are putting money in the mutual fund. They have faith that this money will multiply. Even though they don't see it immediately multiplying, they have faith that after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, everybody is saying, so if I put in mutual fund, after 4 years, I will get good return. So immediate experience is not there, but I have faith. Therefore, according to one's faith, one identifies objects of adoration and reverence and begins to worship them in different ways. So according to one faith, somebody worship Devata, somebody worship Kula Devata, like that. In accordance to this, individuals adopt worldviews, lifestyle and character traits. So according to my faith, if I have faith that money is everything, then I will put my faith on money and I will work day and night to earn this money, because I know in this world, money can do anything. So even God is not important to me. My lifestyle will be that money is important to me. Even my sleep is not important. I will work hard day and night to earn this money, like that. So if my faith is on God, I may earn money, but I know that ultimately money can only save me up to a certain extent. Because during COVID, we saw even people, wealthy people, they died. Even they had so much money. So that my lifestyle will be that I need God's mercy and protection. So let me worship, put some time for everyday worship. My lifestyle will be different. So Krishna begins a discussion of this by giving examples of diet and sacrifices. This is how Krishna is going to see our worldviews, lifestyle and traits. These all change according to the faith we have. If you believe that there is only one life, if you have faith that there is only one life, I can live in whatever way you want, just to enjoy before I die. But if I have faith that after I die, I am going to take birth again, I will be very conscious not to do bad things, because I have to suffer in my next life. So our worldview, our lifestyle and our character, everything is influenced by the type of faith we have within our system. So different religions, also we are seeing there are Christianity is there, Islam is there, Buddhism is there, Taoism is there, so many is there. We find different types of faith in this world. And there are different types of religions due to different types of faith. Okay, see here again the faith is coming. Why there are different types of religion? Because people have different types of faith. The real principle of religious faith is to be situated in the mode of pure goodness. What is the real principle is, even if you are going to be actually a real follower of any religion, you should be situated in the Suddha Sattva or pure goodness. But because the heart is tainted, we find different types of religious principles. Now we understand why there are different religions, because our heart is actually mixed with the different types of, our heart is not still purely good. Hmm? Purely good. When you are purely good, we are situated in proper platform. Because we find, because there is not pure, we are actually having different types of faith. Thus, according to the different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship. Okay. Somebody believes that if I give a goat sacrifice to God, then God will be happy. Then he is bringing a goat and cutting in front of God. Somebody has faith that, no, God does not like non-vegetarian. Let me offer some fruit or flower. Okay, because Krishna says in Bhagavad, Patram Pushpam Palandoyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachiti. 9th chapter we discussed. So Krishna is saying, if you offer me fruit, flower, water, or leaf, I'll be happy. Somebody has faith in this instruction, he will not cut goat in front of Krishna. He just tries to offer fruit or flower in front of Krishna. But somebody reads some Tamasic Quran, which is saying that animal sacrifice is good. If he has faith in that, then what is he will go and cut the animal. So the faith, according to the faith, our worship will be different. That's why we have different religions and different types of rituals and different types of worship. Because of this influence of the three modes, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. But if you come to the pure goodness, then you will be actually established in the real religious faith. Okay, so that we have to understand. How do you acquire this faith? Now the question comes, everything is determined by one's faith. But how does one acquire this faith, first of all? Everyone has particular type of faith, regardless of what he is. But his faith is considered good, passionate or ignorant, according to the nature he has acquired. Thus, according to his particular type of faith, one associates with certain persons. Okay, we have to understand. How did we acquire this faith? Is by association. Suppose I am born in a Christian family. What happens? From my childhood, I am taught Bible. So I believe on Jesus Christ. I read Bible. I go to church. Then I follow whatever the customs is followed in the Christian tradition, like Good Friday or Easter or something like that. And my faith will be on Jesus Christ. Suppose I am born in a Hindu family, whatever my family has taught me, accordingly I will cultivate my faith. And somebody born in a Muslim family, he taught Quran and he said Allah is God, and he's been going to Friday prayer. So his faith will be according to that. So according to our association or according to the place we are born, that determines, has a great influence on our faith. So types of worship now, we are going to see. Krishna is saying in 17.4th verse, Yajante Satvika Devan Yaksha Rakshamsi Rajasaha. See very clearly, you can understand from the verses. Yajante worship Satvika Devan. Deva means they worship the Devatas, who are in Satvik mode of goodness. Yaksha Rakshasam Rajasa. Rajasa, people who are in Rajasic mode or mode of passion, they worship Yaksha and Rakshasas. Pretan Bhuta Ganams Chanye. So Yajante Tamasa Janaha. Janaha means people, Tamasa means mode of ignorance, Yajante means worship. They worship Pretan Bhuta Ganams Chanye. So men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Like we have all Ganapati, Surya, Kartikeya. All the demigods are worshipped the people in the mode of goodness. And those in the mode of passion worship the demons. Sometimes they worship politicians also. People who are passionate for material acquisition. For them, their leader is everything. He is a god. They put his photo, they put their cutout and they worship. Sometimes they do abhishekam also for him. So people in the mode of passion worship demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Pretan, Bhuta, Ganam, Chanye, Ejante, Tamasa, Janaha. So these are the three categories of worship. People who worship Devatas, people who worship the demons, the mode of passion, and the people who worship ghosts and spirits. And people who worship the Lord, actually Supreme Lord, they come even above the Sattva Guna, Suddha Sattva. That is even above the three gunas. So here we can see worship or faith, 17.4, ghost or spirit, faith in irreligious activities. They are actually in faith in irreligious activities. Like middle of the night, they will do some puja in the middle of the forest or in the crematorium, like that. Because people who worship ghost and spirit, for them, they are very active at the night time. And people in the passion, they worship demons, faith rooted in fruity work. They want to get some result for whatever they are doing. So they are having faith in fruity work. People in the goodness, they worship demigods according to the Shastra. Or they think that God is not having a form, impersonal conception. But they gradually advance in spiritual life. When their faith is stronger, they advance in spiritual life because goodness, Sattva Guna is very much conducive to go to Suddha Sattva. So Sattva Guna is the launching pad to go to Suddha Sattva. Like if you go to if you board a flight, the flight will first go in the runway, then only take off. So this runway is Sattva. And after taking off, it is pure goodness, Suddha Sattva. People in Suddha Sattva, they worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to this scripture, people who are established in Suddha Sattva, they worship Supreme Lord Krishna. But somebody in goodness mode, they worship Devata. Somebody in passionate mode, they worship the demons. And somebody in the Tamoguna, they worship ghosts and spirits. Now we finish that section, the faith, what kind of worship they will do according to the faith. Now we are coming to the practical aspect, how the mode of the Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna influences in our food category. So goodness, you can see here, the image here. Goodness stands for all these fresh fruits, vegetables, grains, pulses, milk, butter, ghee, wheat, like that. All this come under sattvic type of food. And this excess chili, not normal chili, excess salt, people who want to stimulate their tongue, that is coming in Rajoguna. And people who eat the frozen food, the stored or the dead meat or something like that, all this dead meat or frozen items, they all come into Tamoguna, ignorance. So see, this is very important verse. You can all note down. 17.8, Krishna is speaking. See, as we understood, in English, Western world, they divide food into three categories. Vegetarian means people who eat vegetables and grains. And non-vegetarian means people who take meat, fish, like that, non-vegetarian. And there is the third category called as vegan. Vegan means they are vegetarian, but they don't take any food which is coming from animal source. Like vegetarian, they take milk, cow's milk. The vegan will not take cow's milk because cow milk is you are getting from animal, cow. They don't take honey because honey is coming from honeybee. So any animal source food, they don't take. That's called vegan. So there is vegetarian, there is non-vegetarian, and there is vegan. So in our Vedic scripture, the food is classified into three types. Sattva-guna food, sattvic food, rajasic food, and tamasic. Now Krishna is going to talk about food which is about these three gunas. That is 17.8. Krishna is saying, Ayu sattva balarogya, sukha priti vivardanaha, rasya snigdha stira hridaya, ahara satvika priya. See, priya means dear. So those who are in mode of goodness, satvika priya, they will like above all these foods. So people who are in the mode of goodness, they like this food. And what is the effect of this food? Ayu means it will increase your lifespan. Food that increases lifespan, ayu, and heart becomes purified and gives strength. Sukha priti vivardana, balarogya means arogyam, gives good health and gives strength also to your body, gives health, good health also, balarogya, and gives happiness. Sukha priti, it gives happiness and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. So it is also juicy, like if you crush a tomato or orange, they are like very juicy foods. Fatty also, like milk, there is fat in that. And wholesome, it is having a lot of fiber, rich in fiber, and it is pleasing to the heart. It will not burn your heart after eating. Okay. So this kind of food, it gives you good health, happiness, and satisfaction. These kinds of food come under people who are very dear to Satvika Priya, who are in the mode of goodness. So we already see increases the duration of life, purifies one's existence, number 2, gives strength, health, and happiness, satisfaction, 3. They are juicy, number 4, fatty, 5, wholesome, pleasing to the heart. This is food in the mode of goodness. And Krishna is telling in the 17.9, food in the mode of passion. Katav amla lavanati ushna, tikshna ruksha vidahina, ahara rajasya esta, dukkha sokamaya pradaha. So very important, very practical. Food that causes distress, misery, and disease also. Like all these fast foods, whatever we take, the fast food, the fried rice, we take in the restaurants, they all put lot of spices, lot of oil, lot of chili flavor. The time you eat the food, after that next day you feel some stomach upset or food poisoning, like that. Food that causes distress, misery, and disease. Such foods are too bitter. See, bitter is required for our body, but the word is important. Some people argue that bitterness is also one of the tastes. Yes, bitter is accepted. Too much bitter means excess bitter. Too sour, salty, very hot, pungent, and dry and burning. So this kind of food, when you are eating, it is very exciting to the tongue, but next day you see the after effect. That is actually dear to the people who are influenced by the mode of passion, Rajasic. So here you see that, you can see like this kind of foods which is like too much chili. Distress refers to the pain felt while eating such foods. Misery, depression one feels after eating such food results yet to be felt, disease. So we get cholesterol problem, we get heart problem, liver problem, so many problems we get after eating this food. So that's why people say that we should not eat in the restaurants much, because it is not good for health, because too much oil, too much salt, too much chili. So too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning. So this is food in the mode of passion. Text number 9. And last category we are coming, food in the mode of ignorance. Yata yamam gata rasam puti paryushitam chayat uchishtam api chamedyam bhojanam tamasa priyam. See, who tamasa priyam, people who are in the mode of ignorance, they like this kind of food. Bhojanam. What is that? Foods that are prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten. So today, maybe we are actually cooking today and taking after the 3 hours, after next day, like that. So Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, if you are eating food after 3 hours of preparation, then it will become tamasic food. So then how can you manage that? If you offer that food to the Lord, then it will not be tamasic nature. That you can take next day also. But food which is not offered, because once you offer the food, it becomes prasadam. That food is not influenced by tamasic mode, because it is actually the mercy of the Lord. Prasadam is the mercy of the Lord. But we are just keeping in the fridge, cooking and keeping in the fridge so that it is easy for us next day. That food over a period of time, it stays in the fridge, it becomes tamasic nature. Any food which is frozen or it is refrigerated or kept for long time without freshness, it becomes tamasic. That is that here. Yata yamam gata rasam means that that 3 hours. And food that are tasteless. See, if you take meat food, it is normally meat is not having any taste. Only when we put that masala, the taste will come. So that is why it said that, because meat itself not having any taste. We all know that meat is very dry and very stale. So when people add so much masala and heat it, and it gets the taste because of the masala. So food that are tasteless, decomposed, that means non-vegetarian, and putrid. Food that are consisting of remnants and untouchable. So we all know, sometimes if you go to fish market, they cover their nose because a very bad smell is coming and that wherever they are going. But they try to buy it quickly because it is actually decomposed and it is actually, it's not having good fragrance. But after that, they cook with masala and everything. So they try to enjoy that. So this food will actually increase our tamoguna. So here you can see cooked more than 3 hours before eating, tasteless, putrid, decomposed. All these kind of items, which we take in the fast food, and consist of remnants of others, untouchable things. Okay, so suppose somebody eating and giving us food, that food also becomes tamasic in nature. Yeah, if you take. But there is an exemption. What is offered to the Lord or some saintly personalities, they honor that food. That food can be taken by us. It does not become untouchable. So remnants of saintly person, especially spiritual masters, advised for spiritual growth. So in that food, the saintly people honor that food. That food, if you take, that is not harmful. But otherwise, cook more than 3 hours, tasteless, putrid, and decomposed, it is actually tamasic nature. So this is the 3 categories of food we saw. Now we are seeing music also in the 3 modes. Goodness, like we have violin, we have flute, very melodious to hear. It's very rhythmic. If you put it on the night time, you feel good sleep, good rest, like that. But if you hear the Rajasic music before sleep, you will not get sleep because it will agitate your mind. All these pop songs, music with heavy, loud noise, a lot of musical instruments with high tempo, and tamoguna music, which is not having any lyrics or proper rhythm or any rhyming. That is actually tamoguna. So music is also in 3 modes. So analysis of the modes. Faith, we have seen already. People in Sattoguna, they worship the Devatas, Rajoguna, the demonic people, demonic, and Tamoguna, and the ghost and spirit. And food also, we saw that what about Sattvic food, Rajasic food, and Tamasic food. Now Krishna is going to talk about the sacrifice, about Sattoguna sacrifice, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna sacrifice. So food we saw already. This is a summary. ignorance, passion, bitter, salty, hot, goodness, and pure goodness. Pure goodness is eating, taking, honoring prasadam. You cook the food, you are going to eat it both same time, but 5 minutes you have to put it in a plate and offer in front of the Lord, then honor it, it becomes prasadam. That becomes pure goodness, Suddha Sattva. So now the next section we are going, actually sacrifice in the modes. So second section is sacrifice in the mode. So austerities. Krishna is going to talk about second section 14 to 19. In order to achieve anything in this world, one must undergo some austerity. So there is a famous quote that no pain, no gain. If I want to become a collector, if I want to become, even if I want to become a politician, I need to go for a lot of meetings. If I want to become a collector, I need to work, study hard, crack the exam, clear the toughest interview. So without austerity, you cannot achieve anything in this world. Anything, material or spiritual, we need some austerity. So we sacrifice immediate pleasure and comfort for the purpose of long-term benefit. People who place faith in different things perform different austerities in life. Krishna explains beneficial austerities pertaining to the body, mind, and the words, and also varying motivations with which one may perform them. So our motivation may be different, but the austerity will give the result based on our inner motivation. So the sacrifice Krishna is talking about from 17.11 to 13, 11, 12, 13. So ignorance, sacrifice in the ignorance, disregard the Shastra, no prasad chanting of Vedic hymns without dakshina and without faith. This is sacrifice made in the mode of Tamoguna. And when you do the sacrifice for some material benefit, for pride, for my prestige, I am doing this homa, I am doing this yajna, or I am donating this big amount to the temple, put my name very big in the entrance of my temple. People sometimes give donation and they write their name very big. They want their honor and prestige, that they want to know that I have donated this much. Let the whole world know that I am doing so much charity. That is for material benefit. That is passion. And goodness means performed according to the direction of Shastra as a duty, and by those desiring no reward. Some people do charity. They say that what right hand is giving, left hand should not know. So like that, people don't want to disclose their name but still they do charity without any desire for reward. So that is actually in the mode of goodness. And pure goodness means performed according to the Shastra under the guidance of Guru to please the Supreme Lord, indicated by the words Om Tat Sat, which you will see at the last part of today's chapter. Om Tat Sat means it is indeed done to please the Lord. When we say Om Tat Sat, it is actually done with the purpose of pleasing the Lord. And austerity in the three modes we are going to see here. Austerity. Here, austerity of the body, Krishna is speaking in 17.14. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Saucham Ajavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. So Sharira means body, Tapa means austerity, Uchyate. So what is that? Austerity in the mode of goodness. Austerity of the body consists of worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master and the superiors like the father and mother, and the cleanliness, simplicity and celibacy and non-violence. So this is the austerity of the body. Austerity of speech. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hityachayat. Swadhya abhichanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Austerity of speech. When we are speaking, what is that austerity in the speech? Consisting on is speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. See, very beautiful. If you are speaking like this, who will not like us? Our speech should be that we should speak the truth, and also at the same time, we should speak in a pleasing way. Today, many divorces happen between husband and wife because people speak very harsh. They insult. They try to, hurt others by their words. So here Krishna is telling your speech should be truthful, at the same time pleasing. Anudvega karam vakyam, satyam, truthful. Priya means pleasing, and hitam chayat, beneficial. Whatever I am speaking should be helpful for others' benefit. Not that I am speaking that is useless, beneficial, and you should not agitate to others, and also regularly reciting the Vedic literatures. So this is called austerity of speech. And austerity of the mind, we can see here, Mana Prasada Saumyatvam, Maunam Atma Vinigraha, Bhava Samsuddhir iti etat, Tapo Manasam Uchyate. This is austerity. See, first we saw austerity of the body, second we saw austerity of the mind. Now we are seeing the austerity of the mind. Sorry, austerity of the body first, austerity of the speech second, austerity of the mind is now third, 17.16. What is austerity of mind? Krishna is telling satisfaction. Our mind should be satisfied. First of all, it should not like be always restless. Satisfaction, whatever we got in the life, first of all, we should thank Lord that I have got a good family, good children. First, thank for what we are having. So too much greediness is not good. Satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence. Samsuddhir iti etat, or the austerities of the mind. So Krishna is saying these austerities are very much important for the mind. Satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence, or the austerities of the mind. Bhagavad Gita 17.60. Satisfaction. So Prabhupada is writing here about satisfaction. Satisfaction means because here you see Krishna said here satisfaction. Mana prasadat, saumitvam, satisfaction. Okay. Here Prabhupada writes what is that satisfaction meaning. Satisfaction of the mind can be obtained only by taking the mind away from the thoughts of sense enjoyment. See, as long as this mind is behind sense enjoyment, the mind cannot have satisfaction. It can be obtained only by taking away the mind from thoughts of sense enjoyment. The more we think of sense enjoyment, what happens? The more the mind becomes agitated or dissatisfied. In the present age, current age, we unnecessarily enjoy the mind in so many different ways for sense enjoyment. And so there is no possibility of the mind becoming satisfied. The nature of our mind is how much ever you give enjoyment, it wants more, wants more. After satisfaction for 5 days or 5 minutes, it is quiet. Again, it will ask more. I want to enjoy more. So that's what Prabhupada rating. So there is no possibility of the mind becoming satisfied because in the current age, people just want to keep on enjoying without any limit, without any restriction. People, earlier times, they were happy with boy married with girl. Now the mind is not satisfied. If you read, there is something called pride movement. What is pride movement? That they say it's LGBT. People want to have marriage with boy and boy, girl and girl. That movement is getting very popular. Now, tomorrow, they will not be satisfied with that also. Then they will propose something else, some other movement will come. God created by nature, man and male and female, so they will be attracted with each other. But Kali Yuga is so unfortunate that male is getting attracted to male and female is getting attracted to female. So there is, that mind is never satisfied by enjoyment. The mind wants, that's why in the Western world, they are developing more and more avenues for enjoyment, but there is no limit for that, and they become frustrated, and finally they come to India to get enlightenment, to take spiritual life. If you see the whole world, anybody wants spiritual enlightenment, they come to India. Because India has such a glorious scripture, lot of saints lived in this Punya Bhumi, Bharata Bhumi. But you can never hear a person for getting enlightenment, he has left India. Suppose somebody has gone to Germany, to America, or UK. If you ask, why did you go? No, I am going in search of enlightenment. No, people go to the Western countries to earn money. That's all. But anybody in the world, they want enlightenment, they come to India, like they go to Haridwar, they go to Rishikesh, they go to Vrindavan, they go to Mayapur, and they go to Kasi. Because there are a lot of holy places. People go there, stay there. They get some shelter of some saintly people. They try to get enlightened. So for the whole world, our India, Bharat Bhumi, is a spiritual beacon. In like, if you see in a sea, there is a beacon, the light tower, which will guide the ship. For the whole world, the spiritual guidance is you can get only from India, not from anywhere else. That's why you can see all the nationalities, they come to India for getting this spiritual enlightenment. And we can see Krishna consciousness is spread all the world now, throughout every world. And people are getting guidance by getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. You might have seen a lot of YouTube videos where people are doing kirtan on the road in France, Germany, Italy, America, London, South America, Korea, Japan, like that. Because if you go anywhere in any country, there is an ISKCON center there by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and Bhagavad Gita is taught there. People are getting this spiritual knowledge that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. We don't die when the body dies, we take another birth. But Krishna is giving the ultimate solution that by executing devotional service, we gradually get liberated and we don't take birth again in this material world. So here Prabhupada writes, the best course is to divert the mind to the Vedic literature, as scriptures like this, which is full of satisfying stories. Like if you go to Srimad Bhagavatam, there are a lot of stories, like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Narada Muni. So when we hear, our mind becomes slowly satisfied, as in the Puranas and Mahabharata, because our mind needs some engagement. The idle mind is devil's workshop. If you leave the mind idle, it always wants some enjoyment. But if you give the feed to the mind through the Vedic literature, you divert your mind, then the mind will become pacified. One can take advantages of knowledge and thus become purified. This is called satisfaction. So here austerity, we saw that ignorance out of foolishness with self-torture or destroy or injure others. And passion out of pride of respect, honor, worship, neither stable nor permanent. And goodness is threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by man, not expecting any benefit for the sake of supreme. Pure goodness is performed with faith and desire to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead. So this is the austerity part. And trivia, what austerity devotees perform? This is a question, classify the answers according to the body, mind, and words. Of course, the devotees perform austerities to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And next, we are going to see the motivation or intention behind these austerities. Like Hiranyakashipu also did austerity for 60,000 years. Nobody can do austerity like Hiranyakashipu. His austerity was so intense that his body became so weak and bones become visible from his body. And there was an ant hill which developed around his body because of he was staying in the same place. But what was his intention? His intention is not to please God. His intention was to become more powerful than God. So behind every austerity, there is a motivation or intention. So when you are doing this austerity with the right motivation, with transcendental faith, and not expecting any material benefits, but engaged only for the sake of Supreme, that becomes Suddha Sattva. So, but if you are doing this austerity performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship, that becomes Rajoguna. And the same austerity, if you do without of foolishness, with torturing your body or to destroy or injure others, with that motivation you are doing, then that becomes Tamoguna. So we are coming to the third section of today's 17th chapter, which discusses about charity. So we are all generally having the mood of charity, right? We always want to help others. Whenever we go to any restaurant or we go to any hotel or any place, we are seeing one box. They tell help to feed the poor or to put some money for the orphanage. Then we are very much disposed. We are putting some money in the charity. So charity is our inborn nature that we want to help others who are below our poverty line. So that charity Krishna is going to describe here. How is this in a mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of tamoguna, rajoguna. So tamoguna, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. 17.20 to 22, 20, 21, 22, 3 verses. The innate quality of the soul is to serve. And thus we find a charitable disposition within everyone to a greater or less. Somebody may donate more money, somebody may have lesser money. But everybody wants to do something good for the society and to help the poor people. According to one's own faith, they make efforts to help others. Even if you go to a temple, you see a lot of beggars outside. After coming out, we try to give some money for their food. Krishna discusses different types of charity and explains that truly benefit people, charity must be performed with certain parameters. But Krishna is recommending what kind of charity we should do, the right parameters. So 17, 20, 22, here see the summary. Ignorance. If you give charity at an impure place, improper time to an unworthy person without proper attention and respect, that becomes tamoguna. That is becoming tamoguna. Like somebody is going to a liquor shop and he is so much drunk and then he becomes so generous that he is calling his friend and he is donating so much money for buying drinks for him because he want to be happy and he want to make his friend happy. That is also charity. He is taking his friends for a party and spending lavishly for drinking. That kind of charity is actually tamoguna. And when you are doing charity with expectation of some return, so if I do this, give this gift to this person, from him I will get a job, I will get a promotion, I will get an increment, or I can get something, even if I do some charity for some divine purpose, maybe I will get a good job or my family will be good. If you expect something in return and do some charity, that is kind of charity is in Rajoguna. And you are giving charity as a duty. This is my duty. I have born in this world. I am getting so much from this world. Let me give something back to this world as a duty without expecting return at a proper time, to a proper place, to a right person, worthy person. That is actually situated in Sattva. See, sometimes you may give charity. Somebody may cheat you that I am building temple, I am doing, and you may give charity. And that person may take your money and he may use it for wrong purpose. then that karma also will come to us, because suppose he is taking money and he's going and drinking and doing a lot of things, but he told you a lie. That's why we should know, even if you are giving to a charity, even there somebody is telling they are building temple, you should be very careful that they're really building temple or not. Because today's world, people are cheating in the name of God, saying that this money you will give for this food program, Annadan, or this, but they are not doing that. They just take your money and cheat you. So you should know whether you are giving to the right person without any expectation, and it is for the right cause, not for any bad thing. It should be for the right cause. It's for good for the society, good for the people. That charity is goodness. And the charity you perform to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means like we are distributing Bhagavad Gita to many people. So we are getting collecting money so that we can distribute Bhagavad Gita to the prison, orphanages, hospitals. So like that, this is to give this knowledge to others. And we are doing also the Prasadam Seva, Food for Life program. You can just type ffl.org, FFL or Food for Life.org. So in India, for a lot of underprivileged schools, ISKCON is actually giving free food meal programs. It's called Akshaya Patra. So they are in tie-up with government. They are giving midday meal program. So in order to encourage children to come and study in the school, otherwise the parents, they don't send to the school because they don't have food. So they put them in the child labor. So the government, in discussion with ISKCON, they have made this midday meal program, where millions of meals are served every day for everyday lunch, millions of meals around India, not only one state, many states for many rural schools where they cannot afford for tuition fees. To those children, a midday meal program, which is a prasadam, is offered to all the children. That because that also need money, right? Anything in this world, there is nothing comes free. They say there is no free lunch in this world. Everything in this world needs money to run. Even if you say a temple can be run out of money only. So charity is required to buy flowers for God, to do the deity worship, to give annadan. So everything needs money. So if you are giving a portion of your salary or some kind of charity to perform to the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to the temple seva, that becomes Suddha Sattva. So these are the different types of charity. And there are a lot of questions will be there always on the modes. How are we bound by these modes? Are these modes passion and ignorance mad? Who controls these modes? These questions will be there. So you can always see Durga Devi, she is in charge for this material world. She is always having a trishul in her hand. This trishul is actually giving us suffering in the form of three miseries: Adhyatmika, Klesha, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Devika. Misery due to one's own body and mind, misery due to other living entities, and misery due to nature. So this misery is inflicted upon us because Durga Devi is actually motivating us to go back to our original home, which is spiritual world, which is kingdom of God. So that is very important. So the last section we are coming here is Om Tat Sat. That is face, enjoyer of everything. That is 17:23 to 28. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 6 verses. Krishna is talking about how he is actually the recipient of all the sacrifices which is done by the human beings. So enjoyer of everything, verse number 23 to 28. Throughout this chapter, Krishna discusses all his themes with reference to the modes of nature: Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. We saw that food, sacrifice, austerity, charity. It is essential to understand that all activities, even those performed in goodness, in Sattva-guna also, will yield karmic reaction. That means to the performer as well as bind him to the repeated existence in the world. Suppose we are saying, I will do everything in Sattva-guna. Sattva-guna is also in one way binding us. How it will bind us? Sattva-guna will give us good reaction. Suppose I give annadan, so much annadan, next life I will get ample food. I will not face any problem for getting food. Suppose I do give education to a lot of underprivileged children. I teach them. The next life I will be very highly intelligent. Because I have given good education, my next life I will do a lot of PhDs. Education will be very, very easy for me. So whatever I give in this world will come back to me. But if I want to experience that, I need to take a body again. So good Sattva-guna will give you good reaction. But to get good reaction, to enjoy the good reaction, you have to take again another human body to enjoy the result back. But there is a way out to get out of this body, get out of the cycle of birth and death. What is that? In Vedic times, God is defined as a supreme enjoyer by these 3 words called Om Tat Sat. Om We know the pranava mantra is Om Tat Sat. It is indicating to the Supreme Lord. Thus, if we are doing our sacrifice, penance, and austerity, which was discussed earlier, and dedicated to the Supreme Lord, done for His pleasure and favor, then such activities yield permanent benefit and ultimate freedom. If you do whatever austerity, charity, penance, everything for the pleasure of God, then that will yield permanent benefit. And also it will give us ultimate freedom from the cycle of birth and death. With this kind of transcendent aim, all our activities become liberating instead of entangling. So when we do that, whatever activities we do for the pleasure of God, here in this material world, we are working hard for our own happiness and for our family happiness. That similar effort we are putting for the happiness of God. Like we are chanting for the happiness of God. We are doing our satsang program to make God happy. We are getting up early in the morning to make God happy. We are fasting on Ekadasi for making. Now, recently we celebrated Bhagavad or whatever, Eid al-Adha. That also for satisfying God only. So they are doing whatever prayers, 24 hours prayers. So when we are doing our penance or charity or activities for pleasing God, then that becomes liberating instead of entangling. That is called as Om Tat Sat. So 17.28, last verse in this 17th chapter. Ashradaya hutam dattam tapas taptam kritam chayat asad iti uchyate partha nachat tat preteya na iha. Anything done as sacrifice, charity or penance without faith in the Supreme. You don't believe in God, but you are doing sacrifice, charity or penance. Oh son of Pratha, it is impermanent. It is not permanent. It is not going to get a permanent benefit. It is going to be impermanent. It is called as asat. Asat means temporary. And it is useless both in this life and next. This is conclusion of Krishna in 17.28. So, whatever we should do, we should always put God in the picture. They are saying goodness, G-O-O-D, goodness. Okay, G-O-O-D, good, minus God, G-O-D, God. It is equal to, what is that? 0. Why it is 0? Because G-O-O-D, G-O-D. So you cancel G, G-D and one O. The balance is one O. That is actually 0. That means it is useless. Shrama eva kevalam. So goodness without God is equal to 0. We may have beauty, we may have wealth, we may have knowledge. These are all compared to zeros. But if you put God, God is like 1. If you put God in the beginning, then whatever 0 we have, it has value. But if you remove that 1, whatever 0 does not have any value. So without God, we are doing any kind of charity, sacrifice or this one penance, that will not yield any permanent result. Rather, it will be impermanent, called asat. It is both useless in this life and also in the next life. That is conclusion in 17th chapter. So we have to do whatever sacrifice, charity, penance as an offering to the Lord. That is called Om Tat Sat. It is done for His pleasure. So the conclusion is, the last slide. In the conditioned state, people are attracted to worshipping demigods, ghosts, or yakshas like Kuvera. The mode of goodness is better than the mode of passion and ignorance, definitely. But one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental. He is above Sattva-guna. To all the three modes of material nature, although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one by association of devotees, pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way. And that is recommended in this chapter. So we have that knowledge now. Krishna is giving that knowledge that if you directly come to me, then it is actually the best solution for all your problems. To achieve success in this way, one must first find a proper spiritual master, Adav Guru Padashraya. We should have a guru, like we are having a teacher for learning music, for karate, for everything. For spiritual life also, we need a spiritual master and receive training under his direction. So, in ISKCON, there are spiritual masters coming in the Guru Sishya Parampara. And when we are following the tenets of chanting and following these 4 regulative principles, we can get Diksha from them. If you are sincerely following and we are aspiring to get you want a shelter of a Guru, then there are options that you can get a Diksha from a spiritual master coming in the bona fide discipline succession and you can progress in your spiritual life. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When that faith matures, in course of time, it is called love of God. That when you take that Diksha and you practice under the guidance of a spiritual master, bona fide Guru, what happens eventually, your love for God will be enhanced and you will achieve the ultimate perfection of life called Prema or love of God. This is the love. This love is the ultimate goal of living entities. One should therefore take to Krishna consciousness directly. That is the message of this 17th chapter. This is what Prabhupada is writing in the 17.28 purport. If you have Bhagavad Gita, you can go to the 17.28 where Prabhupada gives this message. Spiritual master is very, very important for our progress in spiritual life. Okay, Hare Krishna. So from the beginning of creation, Om Tat Sat is used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. When we say Om Tat Sat means we are indicating the supreme Lord. Om Tat Sat were used by the Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Whenever we do the sacrifice, Yajna or Homa, finally they say Om Tat Sat. Even Bhagavad Gita, after every chapter, we say Om Tat Sat Idi Brahma Gita, Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, and they say Karma Yoga, like that. So Om Tat refers to the ultimate absolute truth. And so this is a summary of today's chapter. We saw how a person's faith is influenced by the influence of three modes, which begins with the question of Arjuna, that people who are good people, but they don't follow the scriptures, what is their result by following their own, whether they are Sattva-guna, Rajoguna or Tamoguna. Then Krishna is saying people in Sattva-guna, they worship demigods, people in Rajoguna, they worship the demons or humanly people, and Tamoguna, they worship ghosts and spirits. So one's faith is determined by the influence of the mode, and the austerity is also in the three modes we have seen, and charity also we seen in the three modes, and the Om Tat Sat, the ultimate enjoyer of all our sacrifices, is the Supreme Lord, which is indicated by the word Om Tat Sat. So this is end of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17. So we are having one more chapter to go, chapter number 18, which is again the summary study of the entire Bhagavad Gita. We can say a conclusion. The conclusion of the entire teachings, we can say, that is in the coming next week. We can see chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, which is actually the perfection of renunciation, which we will see in the coming week, chapter 18 chapter, same local time 6 p.m. and Indian time 8:30 p.m. So I would like to give the credits to the reference materials I have used for this presentation. Gita Life by His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Swami and Evolve Pune, materials by His Grace Madan Gopal Prabhu and His Grace Amritanand Prabhu. So if you have next chapter, next Friday will be Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, the last conclusive chapter. Krishna is going to give here the perfection of renunciation, the art of perfection. So that is an interesting chapter. We'll see or whatever Krishna's conclusive statements in Bhagavad Gita in coming Friday. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So if you have any questions now, you can please feel free to ask, or you can type in the chat box as well. Hare Krishna. So today it was very nice. Our Prakash Prabhuji, past 2 times, he has come today for our satsang program, and he has given a very positive feedback. Prakash Prabhu, you can share your experiences also about today's satsang. How did you feel? How your children felt? Your wife felt? Please feel free to share, so that others also will be inspired by that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, actually, it was very devotional and blissful session, satsang, and we are pleased to have, and we are very blessed to be with that kind of association. And really, myself and my wife and the kids, they enjoyed a lot, and in the devotional mode, and it was very, very well organized also, each and everything. The bhajans, they also very like to sing many bhajans. So maybe by the time they're coming, maybe they will.
Very
And
nice.
my wife, she also learning Bhagavad Gita. She also knows, and like reading 18 chapters, she knows very well. Her kids also there. I am a bit lower than them, but still.
Our final destination is Krishna. We reach. I think.
Sure, Mataji. I can see you are very, very sincere, and you are trying to learn. You are trying to educate your children also in this. This is the right example we can give to them, for going the right path. This knowledge will definitely help them in their life, in future life. And this Bhagavad Gita will help them to be always situated in the right path and towards the right destination. Definitely. So that's good that you are giving that good impressions to them at the childhood, and appreciate that input as well. And I can see a beautiful garden background. Very nice
Yeah.
garden also.
The
And
hall.
you made
Totally.
like an oasis in the
Yes,
desert.
yes. It hall, Prabhuji, in my hall.
Hare Krishna.
All are
Very nice.
natural plants only.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. It gives a
Yes,
nice atmosphere, a nice feeling. It's like a
yes.
small Vrindavan.
Yes.
Very nice.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji,
you.
for
And we
inviting
appreciate
us.
your efforts and all of your ISKCON team. Everyone, each and everyone. I don't know all people names, but we appreciate their hard work and sincere, and all our gratitude to entire team, Prabhuji.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your gratitude, and thank you for motivating us by your kind words. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I hope there is no more questions today on today's session. So I will post some summary study as usual, and also I'll post the recording link. And next week will be very interesting. I know many people are traveling for vacation. That's why the strength is coming down. But you can always hear the recording which is being posted in the group. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for giving your time. Please log in next week, 6 p.m. same time, to have this chapter, 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The last chapter about what Krishna is going to say. Let us see in the coming Friday, same time. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Vancha kalpatarabhascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta kodi vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Maharaj ki jai. So thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, the laptop, I think we didn't see the battery drained out.
Okay, okay. Your laptop, Prabhu?
Yeah, my laptop. That's why we
Yeah.
disconnected them.